The real reason why women love to travel. Let's talk about it.
I was just patient, never try skating. Fuck niggas hating.
All right. So this is my thought process because I have been to a numerous amount of places in my life, but I was working. I used to drive over the road trucking. I'm not really a big traveler. I don't just pick up and go places just to be doing it. I actually enjoy being a homebody, spending time with my kids, and then there's a lot of things locally that I like to do. I'm a foodie, so I definitely like to try new restaurants. Also, I like to gamble a little bit. I go to a casino. Um, I'm from California, but I live in Vegas, so there's a lot of times where I just jump on the road if I wanted to do something and go to California. But what would it take for me to just, be an avid traveler and just, get up and go to Texas and Florida and Paris and Bahamas and Jamaica? And if what would be my takeaways, from that, other than an experience and maybe a souvenir? And yeah, I think that's it. What would be my takeaways? Well, when discussing the women who claim that not claim, they say that they love traveling, what's going on here? So one question I would ask myself is, why do women want to appear to be well traveled, and why is this a message that they want to send out to the world when they're on a dating app? Why did she put that in her bio? Well, for status. Now, in case I know you know what status is, but I have a definition. It means high rank or social standing. So the reason why a woman would want to appear to be well traveled and avid traveler and travels a lot is for the status. So in what ways does this give her status? Well, my second question was to myself, why is status so important to these women anyway for them to want it or feel like they need it? Well, the takeaway is they get to go to these places, take pictures, and they get to post them on their social media, Facebook, Instagram, and all of that stuff. And it's saved in their memories. So again, the experience was a takeaway. B, the photos, that they get to post that make them look high status. You go on these women's profile and every other picture is of them in France, of them in Texas, of them in New York, Canada, Jamaica. And you think this is a high status woman. Bare minimum, you think that she got a lot of money, which still equals wealth, which equals status. So again, they do this for the status. So the third thing that makes me think is that she is the state that she's currently in is boring, mundane, routine, unfulfilling, low vibrational. So I'm imagining that this is her current state, like her reality. And her being able to travel or desiring to travel so often is to escape that reality. So she's having some difficulties dealing with reality. And what do people who have difficulties dealing with reality normally do? They pick up habits that soothe them and take them out of reality. Some might be drugs, some might be alcohol, some might be sex, some might be traveling abroad, getting away, and some pick up hobbies. So that brings me to another question that I will have. What kind of hobbies do you have? Because if this woman doesn't have any hobbies, if her hobbies are traveling, well, Traveling is filling the void that she has in her life, where she feels like she doesn't really have much going. Okay, I guess traveling could be a hobby, especially if you're documenting it. Maybe you're doing vlogs on it. Maybe you're documenting and tasting different foods and learning about different cultures. I could see that. I could see that. Well, then my next question would be, what do you do for a living? How do you afford all of this traveling? Well, answer to that. There are ways that you can book a trip and be paying on it for maybe 6 months, so the trips can be booked. But if a woman is traveling 3 to 6 times a year, then she's constantly paying on stuff. Maybe if she gets her income tax, she can pay on something else. But this is a very expensive hobby. I can imagine how you're racking up air mileage because you fly so frequently, but you're paying for plane tickets and round trip tickets at that, unless you're doing one trip there and then you're paying for a trip back. But hey, I'm gonna stay out of that. I'm gonna assume that you are covering the entire trip up front. So you've already booked your hotel. So you've already booked your flight and maybe reserved a rental car, unless you're gonna get out there and Uber around. Maybe you researched certain areas that you can go and explore when you get out there. All of this that I'm saying right here is me rationalizing why a woman is an avid or well-traveled woman. There's other sides to this, though. One would be, what's the mental state of someone who needs or wants to travel that so frequently? Now, someone's gonna say, well, something got to be wrong with them because they like to travel. No, nope, not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if I'm trying to date somebody, then their mental stability or state, period, matters to me. So if you are the type of person who is chasing status that you don't have, because unless you make a lot of money and these trips are something that you can afford with ease, and you don't have to come back and work overtime to make up on all the bills you neglected, then okay, I guess I really don't have nothing to say about that. But at the same time, if you are making that much money, that implies that you are at work. And if you are out of town for a week or two every time you want to, then you're not at work. So you either got a nice little chunk of change sitting around in the bank account somewhere, or you are making payments on all these trips. So you really don't have the status that you want to appear to have, is what I'm saying. Okay. Another thing that popped up in my head, just speculating, I'm not saying this facts, is that maybe she suffers from mild ADHD. ADHD is a attention deficit hyperactive disorder. It's persistent difficulty in maintaining attention and concentration, sometimes with a degree of impulsiveness and hyperactive behavior. So having to move around, always on the go, can't sit still, that sounds like we're having an issue with attention, concentration, impulsiveness, and hyperactiveness. Let me know what y'all think. Next, there's a dark side to the takeaways from traveling abroad, especially if your entire trip is not being documented and you're traveling by yourself, is that women, and there's studies that have been done on this, and women have admitted that they act in ways they wouldn't act at home over the road. There's a old school comedy movie called Role Models, and it's one of my favorite cute little comedy movies. And I forget his name, but the guy who plays Stifler in American Pie, he's in it. I forget his real name, but he is trying to talk to this woman, and he's flirting with her, and she like flashes her wedding ring. She says, "I'm very married," and he leaves her alone. They end up going kind of out of town together because they were all part of this program, and she approaches him once they get out of town, and he was like, "I thought you were married." She says, "I am, but outside of the city limits, I'm very much just like every other woman. I'm single." This is a movie I'm referring to, but this movie is based on reality and real life events. When a woman is 1,000 to 3,000 miles away from home and some foreigner approaches her because she's looking snatched on the bikini, in a bikini on the beach, opportunity presents itself. Now, one can argue and say, yeah, but it depends on if she's like that or not. Look, man, I know men who travel, and when they go wherever they're going, first thing they do is they log on these dating apps to meet up with women in these areas, especially passport bros. That's how they meet women where they're going. They log right onto the dating apps, and it updates their location, and now they can meet people wherever they're at. I also read a bio on the dating app I was on where this woman says, "I live in California, so if I'm on this app in your area, I'm just visiting." Now, especially if you met this woman online dating, what is that telling you? She's online dater. She loves to travel. She doesn't even have to go out of town and find anybody. She can just log onto the app, and it's going to automatically locate her, and it's going to give her the options that are in that area. And I meet a lot of women where I'm at now, online dating, that say, "Oh, I'm just out here for a few days." I don't talk to those people because that's not what I'm into. But if I was one of these guys who was looking for, "Oh, snap, you only going to be here for a day or so?" Well, let's link up. So, things that I would consider. This is a very expensive luxury to have. And if I was with a woman who says that she loves to travel and she wants me to be passport ready, I need to make sure that I can maintain my livelihood, my children, and be able to keep up with her whenever she wants to travel 3 to 6 times a year. Second thing is, other than the experience and souvenirs, what is my takeaway? Third thing is, this is impulsive behavior, as I mentioned before. Therefore, it isn't rational thinking. How do you rationalize not being able to afford to do something that you want to do without telling me that your reality sucks as to why you need a stimulant such as traveling abroad? I mean, I'm connecting all the dots here. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I had a girlfriend once. I always give an example because all of my videos are based on my own experience. And this woman, we had broke up for some months. And while we were broke up, she planned a trip for her birthday to Florida. And when we got back together, it was about a month before her birthday. And of course, she said, "Hey, I'm going to Florida for my birthday. I already paid for everything. You want to come?" And I couldn't. That was short notice. I had my kids. I declined. I didn't think anything of it. So the day before she was leaving, the day that she was leaving, she was acting really suspicious. She was like calling me way more than she normally would. And I said to her, "You all right?" Because I'm talking about when I tell you she was calling me way more than she normally would, I mean every 5 minutes she was calling me. I'm talking about every inch of the way. I was like, and she didn't do that. She never did that. That was some weird behavior. So I said to her, I said, you enjoying yourself? You okay? I said, look, you don't have to call me every 5 minutes. Call me whenever you're doing something or if you've done something that you've experienced something new and let me know. She said, okay, in a real soft voice. All right, bye. I never heard from her again for the entire trip. I didn't reach out to her. She's the one on vacation. That's just how my brain works. I'm not going to call you and be like, oh, I guess there would be some thirsty men like, what you doing? Who you with now? No. You're on vacation. Enjoy yourself. If you want to call me and share your experiences, I'll be more than happy to answer the phone. She never called me. She never posted any pictures on her social media. The windows were closed as to the good times she was having in Florida. Something's odd here. I didn't hear from her until she returned from this trip after 4 days, where she needed me to pick her up from the airport. So she texted me. Didn't even call me. She texted me. This is my girlfriend at the time. Text me and asked me, can I pick her up from the airport? I said, absolutely not. She said, is something wrong? I said, there's definitely something wrong, but we'll talk about it later. And instead of her giving some kind of closure or clarity as to why we didn't speak, she told on herself. She said, well, I felt like it was odd that you didn't want to talk to me on the way down here. Oh, you were getting me back. Because I said, have fun, call me when you do something. So that I needed to be got back for that. I'm smarter than that. What actually happened was you needed any reason to go missing on me because this trip was planned and you already knew you were going to do what you were going to do, what you did when you went out there. And that was a perfect opportunity. Me telling you to have fun was a perfect opportunity. I gave you the okay to not call me anymore. Fellas, if you have gone through this, throw it in the comments because we need any other man who is unclear of what this means to know what this means. Okay? I can't draw no more conclusions on the subject. I just food for thought. Food for thought. This is Jerome. I hope you liked the content, man. If you did, please give me a like, subscribe, comment. And I'll be with you shortly. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day.